We all feel extremely time poor these days between managing our jobs, managing businesses, the commute to or from work, kids, partners, trying to train, social media, and all of the other stuff going in our lives like travel, family, volunteering, contributing, teaching yourself. It is absolutely crazy right now how many different things we've got going on. So that's why I've recorded this short video on 7 tips for time poor investors. I'm going to get straight into it. The very first thing is to get the right information delivered straight to you. Now, the simplest way to do that is to subscribe to the channels on YouTube, to the podcasts that you love, as well as to the emails from the influencers or people or authorities that you love, so that all of the information and content that you're looking for comes straight to you. Now, I did this a bunch of years ago. I've got all of my favorite podcasts. Each time they get a new episode out, I get a notification. That's the same with my YouTube channels, and that is the same with my emails. And emails, although they might be a dying thing to some people, are the most valuable way that I get updates on the market in the investment areas of my life that are important to me. There's incredible people out there spending huge amounts of time creating all of the information you need to get an update. It might take them 20 hours to write an email that's very, very deep, but it might only take you a couple of minutes to read it. Or you might get a white paper report that's taken someone 6 months to put together that you can digest over a beer or a wine, or on your commute one way to work or home from work, and you can get 6 months worth of education in literally an hour. So get the information right to you, subscribe to the right channels that are giving you that information, and then pick and choose what you actually want to digest. Now, the simple thing is get simple market updates. You're making it so hard for yourself, so much harder than it really needs to be. As someone who's bought over $350 million worth of property now for myself, as well as my clients, the number one thing investors do that are time poor is they make it bloody hard on themselves, and they add all this extra workload. To get simple market updates, if you're a property person, watch RP Data or CoreLogic's monthly updates on the Australian market, plus the markets that you own property in. Read Heron Todd White's month in review report, and maybe subscribe to Michael Matusik's emails if you want a different approach that isn't always rosy to sort of counterbalance the other stuff. But by doing that in 1 hour a month, you could completely remain across the Australian property market and probably have a much better understanding than 99.9% of other Australians on what's actually going on. The third thing and most vital thing is to actually build a team around you. You can't do it all in isolation, so outsource the things that you can't do for yourself to somebody else. Now, I'm talking about trust in your quality solicitor, trust in your mortgage broker, find the right property manager, the right building and pest inspector, the right builder, whatever it is that you need in your team of advisors. Find quality people, find the right accountant, the right depreciation person, and then once you've got that right team of advisors, 90% of the questions that you have can be answered by other people that have significantly more and better experiences than you in that space. Or you can take their opinions with a grain of salt, learn from other people, and then formulate your own strategy from there. But building a team is a huge time-saving tip for investors. I do nothing in isolation personally. I've got an incredible team set around me. Every time I've got a question or inquiry, it's somebody else's problem. They hit the tennis ball back over the net. I quickly respond, and it's back in their court for them to go around and do what they do best. Now, the fourth thing to save time as an investor is to set up alerts. There's absolutely no reason in the world you have to log into realestate.com or domain every day and take a look at properties. Just simply set up the alerts for the properties in the suburbs that you're looking for that meet your criteria. They'll be emailed to you as soon as they come through, so you'll see them before most other people that are only jumping on once every couple of days or once a week, and you have an advantage there. Now, you can set up your automated alerts online, and you can also brief in the real estate agents that sell the most property in the area you're looking to buy, and those agents can provide you with updates on what's coming onto the market, what off-market opportunities they have, or what property prices are dropping at the moment, so that you can actually get the best possible deal for yourself. Now, the fifth thing is something that Australians don't do very well, but the Americans do very well, and that is outsourcing your property buying experience. Now, there's some great buyers agents in Australia. As I said before, I run one of those businesses. We've helped buy over $350 million worth of property for over 500 clients in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. There are some incredible lessons that you can learn from people that are doing it every single day in, day out as their core business, whether it's doing it on your own, outsourcing it to a buyer's agent, or someone like us. There are just so many incredible options in the marketplace right now to not just get a transaction or a great property, but to get a full education and a coach and a mentor and a support for the long term from the company you decide to work with as well. The sixth thing that you can do, and this might sound counterintuitive, but what I've found is the busiest people that I know and the most time poor investors that I know all have one of these in their life, and that is an accountability partner or a coach. Now, that might sound counterintuitive, but busy people know how to get shit done. And busy people know that if they are regularly checking into somebody who is also accountable for the results in their life, then they're going to stick on the straight and narrow. It's like going into the gym, and you can go into the gym and you can train and you can get a good result. But if you're going into the gym with a personal trainer that for an hour, 3 days a week is just pushing you to your absolute max, then you're going to get much, much better results. You're going to be far more accountable and you're going to achieve what it is that you wanted to achieve much quicker. Not because you're doing anything different, but just because there's someone holding your hand. You know, when you walk in the next day and they say, how many beers did you have last night? Or what food did you eat? You kind of feel guilty, so you don't go and do those things as much. And it's the exact same with property. If you've got someone in your life that you can talk to and say, you know, or that can hold you accountable and basically say, this is your strategy, this is your plan, this is your goal. How are you tracking with that? What activity did you do this week? What's your plan for next week? I promise you, you will achieve things so much faster. And my best friend and I did this for each other for 3 or 4 years. Now my sister helps me do this, and I think it's a very, very powerful thing for you to actually implement into your life. It might be a 15-minute call once a week, or it might be a 1-hour catch-up with your partner once a month, where you sit down for dinner and you talk about where you are and where you want to go, barefoot investor style. The seventh and last thing I wanted to touch on is time poor people need to prioritize their time, and time poor people are generally very, very good at time management as well. So what I do is I have specific investment time in my calendar every week, and I've had that in my calendar now for the last literally 10 years, where I focus on reading the emails, watching the videos, listening to the podcasts, or whatever else it is that you need to do, but I prioritize that time. So most of the time it's just information collecting and learning, but when I'm actually at the point where I'm ready to go out there and buy a property, that attention that I've spent over here on education becomes very, very focused on identifying the right market, identifying the right suburb, identifying the right property based on my vision for my future and where I want to be financial freedom wise, as well as my strategy and my immediate goals in front of me. So there's 7 tips for time poor investors. Don't stress out. I've got 3 kids, I've got a bunch of businesses, I've done heaps of properties. I think I've moved like 12 times in the last 10 years. There is always time to achieve stuff. If you're using time as an excuse to stop yourself from achieving financial freedom, then you may as well give up now, because you're never going to have enough time in your life for everything until you start making the time. But hopefully a couple of these little hacks might help. For those of you who haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we put out really high quality videos like this a bunch of times a week. For anyone that's interested in going across from video to podcast, we also have the Pumped on Property show, which you can check out on Spotify or over there at Apple, depending on what type of phone you have. So good luck with your investment journey. Save yourself time, implement some of these tips, and good luck with your journey. See ya.